So like a lot of people, I've been rewatching Supermarket Sweep Up on Netflix, and I think this is the laziest and cheapest game show I've ever seen, and I never noticed this when I was a kid growing up. Let's start with how cheap this show actually is.
Over 1,000 people have run down these aisles. And when you add it all up, they've won over $1 million in cash.
Alright, so at first you're thinking $1 million in cash. That sounds pretty awesome. But when you break it down over 1,000 contestants, that only comes down to $1,000 per contestant. That's not that impressive. If you look at Wheel of Fortune, they get somewhere between $5,000 to $30,000. Jeopardy, the average winnings is around 20 grand. And even The Price is Right gives away more money, which, looking at some of these stats in The Price is Right, this is just a little ridiculous. Apparently somebody took the time to break down all these stats of every single season of Price is Right. I mean, look at this season. Somebody broke down every time Bob Barker entered from door 2, every time he entered from the audience, every time a train or a tugboat brought out the prize. I wish Drew Carey knew about this, so like one day he could just like paraglide in and just throw the entire thing off. Now, speaking of entrances, this show is hosted by this guy named David, and for some reason, this guy runs and jogs in every single episode. It's like every single week he's coming in like, oh shit, that's right, I host a TV show and I'm late again. I just can't afford an alarm clock. I'm sorry guys, I just made it yet again. But the contestants don't care. They clap at everything on this show. And I mean everything.
That's it.
But let's circle back to the cheapness on this show, all right? The grand prize you can win is $5,000, which you split that among 2 people. That's $2,500 each. And some people freak the hell out when they win this show.
Congratulations. How does it feel?
Which I'm not saying $2,500 isn't a lot of money. I mean, you can buy a lot with $2,500, but the way they're reacting, it's like they got a brand new car, or they just got a brand new house, or somehow this $2,500 is gonna completely change their life. But there's one episode, 1418, and there's this woman, Carla. She's this college student, and I'm pretty sure she has no idea what is going on this show. Like, you could tell her friend just dragged her there the morning of because she needed a +1. And she's thinking to herself, is this real life? I'm so hungover right now. People are clapping everywhere. Why did I agree to do this in Brad's basement? Not to keep crapping on Carla, but this performance was weak. She had a full 10 seconds of this item right in front of her, right there. How do you not see that?
Oh well.
My favorite part of the whole episode is that we meet Daryl and Sharon, and at the very beginning of the episode, we learn this.
Daryl, how do you know Sharon?
She's my sister.
Seems like kind of an important detail, right? You know, let me just mark that down over here. Fast forward just 15 minutes later.
By now, Sharon must be ready to bust a cut, but her husband, Daryl, has made it out into the market.
So either we got some Alabama stuff going on here, or we have a show with a super low budget that doesn't care about continuity, that doesn't know the difference between a brother and a husband. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, Pete, you're being a little nitpicky about this. Maybe just show me the whoopsie little boo-boos.
And that was Daryl's wife with way more than a few words for him.
But I'm just thinking, imagine being Daryl or Sharon, right? You're super excited to be on Supermarket Sweep, one of your favorite shows in the world. So you're telling all your friends all across the country, out in California, out in New York, down in Texas, up in Alaska. They're all gonna be watching. Plus you have a little viewing party at home. So, you know, you're there, you got your brother/sister there, their significant others all there. The start of the episode, very strong. Asking the right questions. We know they're brother and sister. And then we go on this weird turn where we hear that they're husband and wife more times than their brother and sister. That has to be just a little bit embarrassing. But on a positive note, this shaky camera thing is amazing with Supermarket Sweep. It gives this wild level of intensity when you're watching the show. I mean, could you imagine if real grocery shopping was that intense? You're pushing grannies over, you're chucking hams into carts. You probably have to wear a full helmet every time you go grocery shopping. But because everybody loves Supermarket Sweep, I've talked to a few friends about it. Why don't they just put all the expensive items into your cart instead of putting like, 2 or 3 hams in, unless they just don't care about the chance to win $2,500. So when I was getting ready to make this video, I was looking up all sorts of stuff up online about supermarket sweep, and I came across this interview with the original host of the show. He talked about a bunch of just random stuff, including the food in the store, and apparently a lot of the meats were rotting.
By about the third month, hot dogs sort of started to ferment in the package. And
How did nobody get hospitalized being on this show? And how much Axe, or whatever the 90s equivalent was, would you have had to have sprayed on these meats to not have them smell rotting for months and months as they shoot this show? Ugh, it's just so gross. I know you're not giving away a lot in terms of prize money, but you couldn't afford a freezer just to make it last a little bit longer, or maybe some fresh food every couple weeks? And finally, I kind of love seeing all these different brands that just don't exist anymore that you see on the show, that somehow the players know instantly what it is. So it's not like a brand that was around for like 2 or 3 months and went away. I mean, these are brands that were around for like 20, 30 years, and you start looking them up on Google to learn more about them, because why not? And you can't find anything about them. It's like they never existed, but somehow in this supermarket sweep universe, people know all about them. It's like I either suck at Googling things, or these brands just never existed. Now, it kind of sucks there's only 15 episodes up on Netflix, at least as we're talking about this right now. But there's a reboot that's going to be coming sometime, either maybe this fall or next year, as of when we're recording this whole thing. Leslie Jones from SNL is going to be hosting it. It's going to be on ABC, and I guess she's a major fan of the show, so maybe it's going to be good. So thank you so much for watching. Mucho appreciated. If you liked the video, give it a big old thumbs up. If you didn't like it, don't hit the dislike button, because there's actually a little malfunction going on with it today. If you hit the dislike button, your house might catch on fire. And I don't want that to happen to you, because I care a lot about you. So just hit the like button instead. I'll know what you meant to do. And also make sure you hit subscribe too, because I got this beautiful YouTube plaque over here. We got this for hitting 2 subscribers, and I kind of want to get a new plaque. So remember, next time you're in the checkout and you hear that beep, think of how your food isn't rotting, unlike
Supermarket sweep!